Peace ASMR. Hello, beloved. Hello, beloved. Welcome back to Grant Us Peace ASMR. So, I have gotten some requests to do this video, so tonight we are going to be going through my Bible collection, as well as showing you the 2 catechisms that we have in our house. So I'll be doing like flip throughs, where we'll be looking through them to see sort of what makes them unique from each other and all that jazz. So this video is not sponsored, but I have put affiliate links down below in the description. So if you're not familiar with what affiliate links are, essentially, if you use the link down below and buy the book off of Amazon, I receive a small commission from that. This comes at no extra cost to you. The price is the exact same as if you would have found it on Amazon yourself. Obviously, no pressure to use those links. If you're already in the market to expand your Bible collection, obviously thank you so much. If you choose to use the link, I really appreciate it. So all of these books that I own, I got off of Amazon except for 2. I did not get my Great Adventure Bible off of Amazon. I got it off of Ascension Press. It is available on Amazon, so I will put that link down there, but I will also put the Ascension Press link if you want to buy it from the exact same place that I got it from. The other book that I did not get off of Amazon is this. I actually got it as a gift, and it is the United States Catholic Catechism for Adults. This is also available on Amazon, so I will put the link down below, but technically it was a gift. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I will start first with my Bible, and I call this my Bible because the other ones, my husband is sort of the one who sought them out and decided to add them to our library, but this Bible I came across all on my own and decided that I wanted it, so it is the one I use the most. And so again, it is the Great Adventure Catholic Bible, which you'll know what that is if you've been listening to the Bible in a Year podcast by Father Mike Schmitz. I do have a more in-depth unboxing and flip through of this Bible that I will link down below if you haven't seen it. But it is a revised standard ribbons. I will link these down in the description as well, but essentially there's this little like leathery piece that just you insert into the binding of your Bible so that you can use the ribbons as bookmarkers. So at a brief glance, that is the Great Adventure Bible. Again, I will link a more in-depth flip through of it down below. And let's go ahead and move on to the next Bible. Alright, so the next Bible that I have here is the New American Bible, St. Joseph edition, and you can't tell from the front, but it is the revised edition because they don't sell just the NAB anymore. It is only the NAB RE that they sell. But what makes this translation appealing is that our lectionaries at Mass are taken from the NAB translation. And so, like I said, this is the revised NAB edition, but it still is going to be fairly close to the readings that we are going to hear at Mass, because that comes from the NAB. This one is also bound in leather and has lovely gold lettering, but this is a dark brown, and just in general, I'm really drawn to browns and burnt oranges and sage color and just that sort of like earthy color palette. So I really like this. My husband is actually the one that picked it out, but I definitely liked it when he showed it to me. And it has, again, this very nice embossed artwork on the side here that is also very nice for ASMR. So here you can see in this one we have some maps that are just right in there with the text. So it doesn't have the color maps, but it is kind of nice to have the map just right in here with its contextual relevance. You can maybe see too that the edges of the paper are sort of tinted gold, which is a very lovely sort of classic touch. So in the St. Joseph edition, we have some lovely Stations of the Cross included in the middle of the Bible with some very nice artwork to go along with each station. And again, this is in full color with nice, thick, glossy paper. This is a very nice addition to have. Oh, we do have at least one colored map on nice glossy paper towards the back. We actually have a bunch of various St. Joseph booklets. Our rosary booklet is St. Joseph, and my husband's missal is the St. Joseph edition, and so we've always found that we just really like the St. Joseph books. Okay, so we've seen one RSV second husband has his tassels down here, bookmarking his place. This one, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll really be able to see or not, just inside has more of a feel of like a classic Bible where the text is just a little bit more, I don't know, maybe just not so much of the cut and dry. The pages are a bit more cream colored. They're not super thick, but honestly, they I feel like when they are laid flat, they do a good job of not showing through to the other page. Like, it's not perfect, but I feel like some Bibles, the pages end up being pretty thin, but these feel just like a little bit thicker. We have some maps at the end. These aren't really printed on glossy paper. I will say the paper does feel different than just like the general Bible paper, but it's not glossy like we've seen in some of the other ones. And the colors aren't as distinguished. We just kind of have the green and the blue look. But again, we have all of the important maps that we would need to understand sort of the context of what's going on. This paper at the end here is nice scratching paper. Yeah, so this is just a nice hardbound cut and dry Bible, but it still has a really pretty decorative flair on the outside. Like this would be a really pretty one to display the front cover somewhere, like, I don't know, on a table or even on your bookshelf, but like facing out, not like put in with all the other books. It's just this lovely cover. So we're going to pop back into the NABRE real quick so we can compare some Bible verses. But real quick, I just noticed that there's this really nice family records section inside. This is the brown NABRE. So you can sort of keep track of your family tree, your marriage, your children, marriages within the family, vocations, things like that, deaths. So I thought that was a really nice addition for this Bible. Okay, so to compare the NABRE translation to the RSV, I'm going to read John chapter 1 verses 1 through 14. So what I've heard a lot of people say about the RSV that they like is that it's sort of the really beautiful and poetic translation, and that's what tends to draw people to that. So let's see how John chapter 1 is written for the NABRE first, which is the New American Bible Revised Version. The Gospel of John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through him, and without him nothing came to be. What came to be through him was life, and this life was the light of the human race. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came to be through him, but the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, but his own people did not accept him. But to those who did accept him, he gave power to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not by natural generation, nor by human choice, nor by a man's decision, but of God. And the Word became flesh, and made his dwelling among us, and we saw his glory, the glory as of the Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. Alright, so now we will read the same section in the RSV II edition, the Catholic edition. The Gospel of John. The Word became flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came for testimony, to bear witness to the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness to the light. The true light that enlightens every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world knew him not. He came to his own home, and his own people received him not. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh, and dwelt among us, full of grace and truth. We have beheld his glory, glory as of the only begotten Son from the Father. So, in just comparing those two versions, it does really seem like the RSV has a little bit more of poetic and heartfelt language. Of course, the NABRE, they both get the same points across, and I think the NABRE is maybe a little bit simpler to read just because it's sort of the sentences flow in a modern way that we're more used to, which makes sense because it is the New American Bible. But in this one, we have just some prettier language, and one of my favorite verses, verse 5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That's just beautiful. I think, it's probably a lot of people's favorite verse, or, up there in the top. So yeah, that's at least one example of the difference in translation between the NABRE and the RSV second edition. Alright, so the last Bible that we have before we move on to the two catechisms that we own. You might have thought that this was a full Bible based on how chonky it is. However, it is actually just the New Testament, because it is the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, just of the New Testament. And this version is also the Second Catholic Edition RSV, so it's the more poetic version. And this version, the study elements of it were written by Scott Hahn and others. And since this also comes from the Ignatius Press, we again have the lovely gold images of Jesus and the four authors of the Gospels here. I really need to learn which one represents who. I can never remember. So to kind of show you what chapters of Acts, which I will link that video down below. If you guys are interested in me doing some more readings where I sort of like talk about some of the notes, let me know. But it's nice because I don't know if that'll show up or not, but it comes with some little images next to some of the notes so that you can sort of key in and be like, oh, this is a keynote talking about this particular subject. And it has introductions to each new book and then an outline of that book. I think this is sort of the thing that my husband is interested in reading next, to sort of take a deep dive into the New Testament. And I believe Scott Hahn and his collaborators are working on the Old Testament version, which obviously is going to come out in multiple segments, because if like this is the New Testament, like at this size, I mean the Old Testament is going to be just volumes. tingles, because I know I'm all about that on this ASMR channel.